What's happening, Online guys? Welcome back to Assassin's Creed Syndicate. This is chapter 39. When we last left off, we were doing Charles Dickens memories. We were doing some dreadful crimes. I think we did like 3 things. I think I did 1 Charles Dickens memory and then 2 dreadful crimes, and that was literally it. Also found a chest at the end too. One of the ones I was missing from, I believe it was the Strand. In any case, let's equip the taupe color. Taupe, salmon, and gray blue. I do want to spend a few minutes looking for this chest here in the Strand, so we'll head back over this way before we jump into the side activities. If I had to guess, I would say there's probably a stairwell down in this building, just like there was in the last one. I'm gonna run the perimeter, hopes to find either a sewer entrance or a stairwell. Nothing there. Haha. Look at that. Who would have thought? Definitely not. Is that a person there? No, that was a statue. That scared the shit out of me. Because I ran by it and I thought there was some person just standing in the corner. I'm like, This might give me a schematic for all I know. Golden spider silk. Alright, so we now have everything in this district except for the glitches and the music boxes. After we take control of Westminster, I'll kind of take some time off screen to try to find all these music boxes, try to acquire all the Helix glitches. As that will take, you know, a fair bit of my time. One of the rare occasions we're not meeting in a pub. The terror of London. Spring Heel Jack returns to bed evil. The good people of London. Stop him. Make sure I read that right at first.
Thank goodness you're here. Impossible as it may sound, Spring Heel Jack has returned. We need to do something before the unthinkable happens.
I thought we'd already dealt with this nonsense.
There may be more to this than we originally thought. Come on.
Get away from me, you monster!
Alright.
Stop what you're doing!
You'll have to do better than that. I am a ghost, a fiend, a terror in the night.
Pain in my ass is what you are.
am a ghost, performing the feats of a devil upon the long have I stalked streets of London.
Game was like hide from his sight, and I was like, okay, well,
One is safe from thy
really don't
beastly
need
claws.
to. I wasn't sure if it was one of those that was gonna stop me from progressing.
I am a ghost, a fiend, a terror in the night.
Why do I feel like I'm playing Spider-Man right now? Shooting my webs, chasing a villain. Ow. Oh, I didn't even see the bonus objective for not touching the ground. It's a good thing I've been ziplining, huh?
I am a ghost, performing the feats of a devil upon the earth.
I didn't want to go that way, but I'm going this way anyways. Not fooling me, I'm not touching the ground. Nuh-uh. That's how I feel right now.
Long have I stalked streets of London. I am a ghost, a fiend, a terror in the night.
I'm assuming I'm just supposed to follow him. Get this ready just in case, though. I didn't get a prompt to assassinate him, so...
I am a ghost, a fiend, a terror in the night. I am the terror of London.
I mean, that's the best you got, Jack. Can't shoot him. Figured I would try.
What? How? Where?
Spring-heeled Jack will never die.
Not bad. I'm sure we'll meet him again.
Well, thanks to you, the Ghost Club's reputation has grown tremendously. We are a beacon of reason in a world beguiled by superstition.
But I believe we have encountered one genuine spirit.
Can you be certain? That's the question. One might surmise that the spirits that haunt us are simply our deepest fears, manifested as apparitions.
Shame. I've always wanted to see a ghost. Or a goblin.
I propose a toast to the Ghost Club and the virtuous twins that have aided it, Miss Evie and Mr. Jacob. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm guessing that was the end of all that. Now I have to look, of course. Thought we had more. Dickens missions. Yeah, we have 2 more. Interesting. Let's check out this belt that we got. The belt of choice for demonic urban legends. Does that include you? It's funny. Alright, on to the next dreadful crimes case, I guess. Might as well take a look at that. What do we have here? Next stop, murder. Solve the murder, or sorry, try that again in English, Josh. Solve the mystery of the body found on the banks of the Thames.
Hey! Someone help! Some trap found something down there. Looks like foul play.
Very odd. I was expecting Henry and his sidekick, Arthur, I believe his name was. Body. Male body dressed in the manner of a wealthy businessman. He is wearing only one shoe. The man has sustained multiple fractures, including a fall from a great height. There are no identifying documents. Thrown over the bridge, maybe? Identified, wealthy, wet, multiple fractures, one shoe, drag marks. Okay, so this wasn't the murder impact. Right there. Need to get up there. What else do we have down here? Coat. A rich man's coat with a name sewed in the lining. Matthew Killian.
Well, now, I didn't ask about this.
Think we have a name? Pocket watch, broken silver watch. The hands might have stopped just after midnight.
I should reinterrogate a suspect.
Apparently this was too low of a fall for that kind of impact. I don't know what kind of jump that was. Alright, who are you? Vagrant. What do you know about the body?
I heard a splash, and right quick pulled this bloke out of the shallows, dead as a mackerel.
This your shelter?
I live there now, if you can call it living. I lost my job, didn't I? No need for the likes of me when a machine can do the work.
What about this coat?
A nice warm coat like that on a dead man? What do you expect? I snatched it before somebody else came along to nick it. Like you.
Okay. Where were you at midnight?
The midnight train? That must be the 616. Stops in the station down the road. If you hurry, it might still be there.
So you might have been thrown off the train then. Victoria train station. Hopefully this isn't terribly far. That bird was definitely in the ground. We all seen it?
Poppycock again.
I mean, I hope this is close. The game, literally the other side of the map. Okay, no, I'm almost there now. For a second, I didn't see it and I panicked. I was like, no, literally, it is a. This is what I mean, though. I hate doing these type of missions where you have to literally go across the map just to get to the next, like, investigative location. Let's talk with this guy. Train Master, tell me about Train 616.
You better hurry. It's leaving right now.
The game, you can accuse anyone now. Start with this restaurant carriage first, I suppose. Who are you? Peter, tell me about last evening.
It was a typical evening. As far as I knew, nothing unusual happened until you came aboard with this story of a murder.
Tell me about midnight.
I was tidying up in the passenger car. Around midnight, Vivian ran through. She thought someone was looking for her.
Tell me about Killian.
Just another wealthy passenger. They're all pretty much the same.
Interesting. Pamphlets. Down with the industrialists, down with the monarchy. Revolution is the only way. Interesting. Newspaper. Article about Matthew Killian's efforts to close an enormous business deal in Wales. It notes that Killian is well known for replacing workers with machinery. There's a likeness of Killian in the paper, which matches the victim. Also have sleeping pills. A small box of sleeping pills. It is half empty.
Now that I've seen this, I should ask more questions.
Ryan, tell me about last evening.
Nothing unusual. A couple of passengers came in and had a sort of business meeting. One of them was buying a lot of drinks for the other, and then they started to argue. But Vivian went over and joshed them out of it.
What about these pills?
Oh, well, it's a noisy train. Plenty of passengers have trouble getting to sleep, so I keep a sedative here behind the bar, yeah?
Interesting. Tell me about Peter.
Peter, nice bloke. Came here after being sacked from a foundry a few months ago. I'll tell you, he looked white as a ghost after he served the businessman.
Interesting. Very interesting. Passenger carriage. Who do we have here? Luke, tell me about last evening.
Odd thing was, some noises on the roof woke me up briefly. You say someone was thrown from up there? You have to be a very strong fella to drag someone up onto the roof.
Tell me about midnight.
Vivian had another of her dupes in her compartment by then. After that, I remember people going past me from time to time, but I was half asleep.
And what about Killian?
Killian was on this train. Cool. I used to work in his foundry. I never even seen him. None of us workers ever knew what he looked like.
What about Peter?
Well, Peter worked with me at the foundry. He's a very strong bloke. I got my arm mangled in one of the damn machines they put in. Then Killian sacked the old crew. Peter, he helped me get hired as train staff.
It's not looking good for Peter, that's all I can say. We have a shoe. Caught on a bolt at the top of the carriage is a shoe matching the one found on the victim. Heavy burden footprint. The man must have already been knocked out. Handprints on the side here. Interesting. Coming up to sleeper 1. Angus Wolf, tell me about last evening.
I had drinks in the dining car with Killian. We had business dealings in the past. It was a pleasant surprise to discover him on this train.
Where were you at midnight?
I felt unusually tired and came back here to get some sleep.
Interesting. And tell me about Killian.
I suppose there were some disagreements, but there always are when a great deal of money is involved.
Here we have a letter. Killian will be on the 616 train to Cardiff to sign the papers. You must prevent him from signing them at all costs or we shall be ruined. There's also a derringer here. A small ivory-plated derringer chamber for 2 bullets, but 1 is missing. Sam, tell me about last evening.
Mr. Wolf had a few with Mr. Killian. Then the young lady invited herself over to have a glass with them.
Where were you at midnight?
Mr. Wolf became terribly tired, even though he'd only had 1 drink. He toddled off to bed well before midnight. I stayed in the dining car for a few drinks with the barman.
Can you tell me about Killian?
Mr. Wolf bought him drink after drink. Then they got angry. But the young lady come over, and it's obvious that Mr. Killian was interested in a rendezvous, like. Around about 11:30, Killian and her left together.
Tell me about Wolf.
I've been Mr. Wolf's valet for going on several years. He's frail and needs a man like me to help him about.
He never mentioned anything like that. Not that he would, but... Tell me about your valet.
Sam, he's a trusted valet. He's terrifically strong, which makes him useful in many situations.
Last piece of the puzzle up ahead. Vivian, tell me about last evening.
Nothing unusual at all. I had a drink with some gents and then retired to my sleeper.
Tell me about Killian.
The rich fella. I did talk with him. Very charming. But a single woman has to be careful, you know? Did something happen to him?
Handbag contains a letter. How goes it, Viv? Hooker any more fish? It's a lovely caper you've got going. I need to find me a bonny scheme like you. Let's have a glass next time you're in Soho. Love, your sis.
Now that I've seen this, I should ask more questions.
You also have a note, a handwritten note. Come to the restaurant carriage quickly.
Well now, I didn't ask about this.
What can you tell me about this note?
Someone slipped a note under my sleeper door a few
Where's this
minutes
camera, by
before
the way?
midnight. It said I should come to the dining car. I went, but only Ryan and Wolf's man were there, and they were both drunk.
Interesting. Tell me about the letter from your sister.
Oh, all right. I flirt with rich blokes, and the barman slips them a mickey. I take them back to my sleeper, and they nod off before I have to do anything shameful. They wake up thinking they had a night of fun and hand me a few quid. That's what happened with Mr. Killian, but he was gone when I come back from looking for the man who left the note.
Tell me about Vivian.
You mean the young lady? She and Killian hit it off famously. Embarrassing, really.
The way it placed me out outside the train car was very scary, by the way. Can you tell me about Vivian?
That one. Clever little minx. She and the barman got a little scam going. I think everyone on the staff knows about it.
Tell me about Vivian.
She's a frequent passenger, that one. Hangs about with the wealthier sort. Likes to entertain them, if you take my meaning.
Tell me about the scheme.
Yeah, I helped Vivian fleece the dupes. I slipped a pill in the wine for the table. Both gents got sleepy, but Vivian picked the richest one.
Tell me about Vivian.
She rides the train often. She's very friendly with the other passengers.
was wondering what, you know, but the game kind of put it in front of me. This note right here. Someone was here to prevent him from signing the deal. But it had to have been someone strong enough to throw him off the carriage, which would have been either the front or this guy. He didn't know he was here. He did.
I was in the dining car, carousing with the barman. He's a good bloke.
Doesn't mean anything. Okay, well then it would have had to been the other guy. That could have been after the fact, after he was thrown off the train.
I gave him what he deserved. The man was heartless.
My timeline was wrong. I thought maybe he threw him off the train and then went to chill with Ryan.
I believe something larger is afoot. A lot of murderous anger concerning industrialists. Might be something to look into.
Why is he all the way back there?
Up to the click with you.
Next stop, murder. Industrialist Matthew Killian was dragged and thrown from the top of a moving train by his former employee, Peter Jespers, put out of work by the mechanization of Killian's factory. Peter found employment as a humble train steward. However, one evening, Peter realized that Killian was on the very train. Prior to this journey, Peter had never seen Killian, but now recognized him from a recent newspaper article. Peter, knowing that frequent passenger Vivian often swindled wealthy fellow passengers, waited until she lured Killian to her compartment. He kindly arranged for her to be called away by means of an anonymous note. That's what I missed then. Peter then used his considerable strength to lift the drug magnet and drag him to the top of the train, whence he threw him to his death at midnight. Killian's rival, Angus Wolfe, had hoped to get Killian so inebriated as to prevent him from participating in a business meeting on the following day, but Wolfe himself felt afoul of the drug brandy and slept through the entire episode. As for Peter, the murderer, perhaps he met our justice. In turn, he will now meet justice himself. Henry Raymond. That's what I wasn't getting. Makes sense. Alright, well, it looks like everything else is kind of done. I can finally get these waypoints then. Or viewpoints, rather. Collect them all first, and then we'll start making progress in Westminster here. Game, leap of faith, me. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. I'll borrow this.
Yeah.
Funny. Alright, anyways, I should be able to get up there from here. There we go. I was having trouble getting in on the bar. Not bad at all. And the other one over there.